Ciao Juventini, welcome to the All Juve cast, and it is match day. I know I'm kicking this off a little bit early, but yeah, it's morning, it's bright and early here. I'm excited to get going with the Coppa Italia and see if we can line up a Derby dell'Italia in the semifinals. That's right. So we got Spal today in the Coppa Italia. Now, the Milan Derby, we talked about that. We're trying to set up a match, another Derby d'Italia against Merda. They obviously coming out victorious yesterday, winning in what was a pretty wild match. I don't know if ours against Spal is going to be like that, but yeah, there were some fireworks. Ibrahimovic scoring a great goal. Ibrahimovic, of course, involved in a battle with Lukaku. And on a day where reports come out about Gigi Buffon and them tracing these words, these blasphemous words that he said during the match. And then this happens. And I don't want to get into the whole scenario between the two of them, but yeah, you can take the words that Ibrahimovic said in many different ways. You could say maybe he was speaking to something that he knew of as they were previously teammates at Man U, but I can easily see how the racist, comments have come from towards that. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Nonetheless, a goal from the forgotten man, Eriksson, puts Merda in the semis. And I put a tweet out there that the coach and the team doesn't deserve that goal from Eriksson, and I stand behind that. But on to Juve versus Spal. Juventus and Spal have played 43 matches. 28 wins have gone Juve's way. They've lost 3 and they've had 12 draws. The last meeting between these two sides was in February 22nd of 2020, with Juve squeaking out a 2-1 victory. In terms of the goal-scoring leader in the history of this fixture, I'll leave that for you guys to guess, and I will basically come back with that at the end of this preview here. So, yeah, basically, Spal, they're sitting 5th in Serie B. So Juve should feel obviously very, very confident in this one, in progressing. We know we're going to get a heavy change in the lineup. What's expected as far as the starting lineup goes, right now, reports say Buffon in goal, Di Pardo will be making up the back line with Demiral, De Ligt, and Frabotta. Bernardeschi, Fagioli, Rabiot, Ramsey across the middle with Kulusevski and Morata. So looking at this one, I would say your back three would consist of Di Pardo, Demiral, De Ligt, and offensively Frabotta, Bernardeschi closing out those wingbacks with Ramsey slotting in behind Kulusevski and Morata. This is going to be, there's a lot of question marks about this lineup. Should it be enough against Spal? In my personal opinion, yes. They are 5th in Serie B, like I say. And if you look at them in Serie B, I mean, shots on target, shots in general per match, they average 3. Shots on target, they average 1.5 per match. Goals, 1.2. This should be more than enough if we're being serious. In terms of the question marks regarding lineup, with Ramsey and Kulusevski, I'm interested to see how this is going to work, because Kulusevski, even while being listed at a second forward to Morata, we've seen how he plays, and he likes to be that link, and he can kind of turn and create and whatnot. So him and Ramsey, I'm looking to see if they will end up occupying the same space. I hope that that's not the case. Bernardeschi tipped to be the capitano in this one, and I put a joking tweet out there about it, but honestly, Juve's always done this by appearances. So it is what it is, but we will have more on that. And of course, Alexandro has been cleared of COVID. He's tested negative, but don't expect him in this one. It's a Serie B side. We should be able to get the job done and move along in this tournament. And then we've got a tough match against Sampdoria on the weekend. So, this rotation here heavily kind of makes sense. I just want the same approach. And you've got a good enough mix in here with those young guys that we should be able to maintain approach. Looking at guys like Morata to maintain that, Bernardeschi, De Ligt, Demiral, Ramsey, Kulu, even though he's a younger guy, whatnot, he's been very, very driven as of late. So I expect the mentality and approach to be where it needs to be. Going back, there was a question asked to me in terms of the lineup changes, and Jordan Simpson actually asked me, what do you think? Is there a level of disrespect when you play these teams and how you line up your squad and whatnot? And even Guardiola speaking to that and saying, oh, yeah, we'll just play these guys because we're playing a lower side and whatnot. I don't know in terms of this specific scenario if I would say it's a level of disrespect. I think, for a team like Juventus, in a month where you have 9 matches jam-packed in there, I think if you're going to have opportunities to rest guys, you have to take them. Honestly, if you look at the lineup, it's nothing crazy, really. You've got Fagioli in there, Di Pardo. I mean, Frabotta's played several matches this season. So, really, you've got Fagioli, Di Pardo in there. And the other guys should be comfortable enough to get the job done. How Spal surpassed Sassuolo is even beyond many. So, it is what it is. In terms of disrespect, I don't think so. I think this is a prime opportunity for what's been a very, very tough month for Juve in terms of fixtures. For them to get some rest and get ready for essentially another month that's going to be very, very tough, especially if they get the job done today and then pack into Coppa Italia semi-final fixtures against Merda. It's going to make the next month very, very challenging, as well as you have the Porto Champions League clash too. So, yeah, it is what it is. Disrespect or not, you have to look out for number one. If you have the opportunity to rest guys and play what's considered a weaker side, I think you take that opportunity 100%. Disrespect, I don't think so. At this point, no. Rest key guys. So we talked about Sampdoria coming up on the weekend. The other thing is it's interesting to see how Juventini feel in terms of this team and everything, and leading as we continue going on, and still wanting a bit more, like whether it's being more clinical and still not convinced, and everybody's still asking questions. But low key, this team has essentially come through a very, very tough month of January with some very, very tough fixtures. Okay. And like I said earlier, 9 matches in 1 month is crazy. All right. So the fact that we're coming through then so far, and fingers crossed, make it through getting the victory today, and then another one on, of course, the weekend against Sampdoria, Juve will have come through in a very, very crucial month for them with the opportunity of only dropping points in 1 match. And when we talk about key guys they were missing in that 1 match, man, this is pretty impressive, actually. So while many Juventini are kind of down in terms of how they feel about this team and maybe not being so convinced or whatnot, they're low-key getting the job done, and they're putting the pressure on those other teams. I personally see a big, big drop-off in Milan, and honestly, Merda will be the ones to keep an eye out for whatnot. But if we, again, keep this train rolling, keep the momentum going. I like our chances. I like where we sit, and I like this team being the ones chasing and keeping those pressure there on those other guys. So yeah, low key, Juve's doing a really, really solid job, especially in what was a very, very challenging month, and they managed to take home the Super Coppa. So yeah, it's good. In terms of lineups, this Bernardeschi is Capitano. Real quick, I'm going to say ciao to everybody. Colin joining. Hey, man, thank you for joining. Dwight, what's up, man? Greens from Lithuania. Thank you for joining. Tony G, what up, Juventini, and Stephen Martin joining. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much. And Eric, my man, Eric, morning, gorgeous. Yeah, morning. Been up for a while now, he knows. And perfect timing for Eric to jump in because we're talking about Bernardeschi as Capitano. So Juve's always done it based on appearances, whatnot. I had someone reach out to me on Twitter saying that this, and we have a lot saying the same thing, hopefully a confidence builder for him and whatnot. But we've said that a lot. But honestly, in terms of Bernardeschi, at this point in time, I'm really, really happy with what he's been doing. I think his work rate has been incredible. And it's something that actually, even through his struggles and whatnot, was always there. His work rate is great. But as of late, he's actually getting the job done. He's been unlucky. Even if you look earlier on in the season, he was unlucky with getting the numbers in order to achieve more recognition because people will throw the stats at him. But honestly, there was a little period there where he was setting up teammates, and it was right after the great round with the Azzurri that he had. He came back and he was setting up his teammates. They weren't finishing. He missed a couple on his own. He was unlucky. I think he hit a couple posts, but he went on a little bit of a tear, and then his minutes just dropped right off. Now Bernardeschi, again, I still see good work rate, and at bare minimum, he is serviceable now because there was quite a long period of time where he just wasn't serviceable. What you were getting from him was not enough. I think the story's kind of changed now. He is serviceable at the very least. And again, if he had some numbers to back it, he was very unlucky on getting robbed by Skorupski in the last one. He made a shocking decision on attempting that chip there or whatnot, but still, he works hard. I think the ratings I saw there on him last one was actually very, very harsh on him. In terms of the captaincy and saying that this sends the wrong message, this is the message I received over Twitter, saying this sends the wrong message to a mediocre player. I don't think it sends the wrong message or whatnot. I think, honestly, they've always done it by appearances, and I partially agree with it, and I partially disagree with it. It's a weird one. I mean, I think I agree with it in terms that they just do it on appearance. I agree with it in terms of rewarding people that have put time in there with the club and whatnot and everything like that. But I disagree in terms of make it your team's choice because I think it would mean more to the person wearing it should it be chosen by their peers. And it would be more of that confidence builder because people were saying, well, you get the captain's armband to be a bit of a confidence booster for him and whatnot, getting that armband and whatnot. But I think it would mean more should say, hey, everybody says it, you know what? Let's give it to him today. Let's get him to wear the armband. So it's a tough one. You could flip back and forth on that one, how they decide them. But yeah, and let's go. Eric's coming in here. He hasn't capitalized on some chat, but biggest difference for me is he's doing the small things much better now than he did last year. Subtle but very good progress. He also plays well, carrying the weight of the 10 for the Azzurri. So maybe this will work the same. Yeah, it's possible. Absolutely, it's possible. Tony G, work rate is good, but he's always had a problem with decision making. Sometimes it's just awful. Saying that he just isn't reliable and this is Juve, I would sell him, but who to bring in on the left? Yeah, so decision making is being an issue is not something that I solely see wrong in only Bernardeschi. We also have a right wing back who receives a ton of praise, who actually made a lot of decisions that were bad, in my opinion, in the last match. But I even admitted his presence was a lot and needed in Juan Cuadrado. Kulishevsky at times, decision making. There's a younger guy too. But I think roles help players. How you use them, where you're playing them, and whatnot. It makes a difference. The weird thing with Bernardeschi is with the Azzurri and the position he occupies, that never really transferred over to Juve. We only saw him in that same style usage really when he first was getting minutes in that first season, and he actually was doing really good. After that, they kind of changed how they use him, and they kind of floated him all over the place. And it was never quite the same. Now, at left wing back, of all places, I think he's actually been doing quite well, putting in good work. Steven's saying, I think Bernardeschi's been putting the head down and working hard, which is great to see. He's been unlucky with some things. Absolutely. But in terms of decision making and, really slaying him on it again, as of late and even earlier on the season, he was unlucky based on some finishing from teammates and hitting posts and whatnot. So his numbers could actually be much, much better. But nonetheless, he's set up to be the captain. Kulishevsky and Morata up top, Fagioli, Rabiot, Ramsey in the middle. Again, curious to see how Ramsey, Kulishevsky work this one out together, because Kulishevsky likes to be that drop back link. Morata in the 9. This is another thing I want to see. I think, again, I've said it so many times, I think Morata and just a true 9 is so crucial to this. I think Kulishevsky, I think he's going to rip Spal apart, as he should, not only because they're like a fifth table team in Serie B, but he, to me, needs that 9 up top with him. When we saw him up top with Ronaldo, it's not the same with me, and that goes for all the other forwards. A true 9 in this setup is crucial. I'm going to have eyes on Kulishevsky, but while I think he's going to do well and absolutely murder this team, I'm curious to see how Ramsey being there in that attacking mid role and Kulishevsky work, and if they're going to kind of make things congested or whatnot and be awkward there. It's going to be a weird one, but I'm going to have eyes on that. Obviously, we're going to have eyes on Fagioli. There's a lot of Juventini that have been wanting to see this kid get some minutes with the team. This could be the opportunity today. Again, this is the projected lineup. Things could change. Again, the big news is we're getting closer to a full squad being back and healthy. Sandro getting cleared. We are waiting for Dybala, who apparently has a timeline of getting back for the Porto match, but could be sooner. I honestly like this. I know that Juventini are kind of all over the map in terms of how they feel, in terms of excitement or confidence in this actual team and this club. But I mentioned earlier, low-key, this team has got their head down and getting the job done in what was a very, very difficult month. This one right here, I want to ask you guys that are joining live, because some people are saying just play all the youngsters. Who cares? And now, when the potential schedule came out for next month and you slam in 2 matches against Merda for the semifinalist Coppa Italia, and then the mixed feelings kind of sparked up there, and some saying, well, no, that's going to be a nightmare. Don't do it with this club or whatnot. And like actually talking about giving up a match, no, that's not an option in my opinion. You go for it. You take on the extra matches. If anything, it's again experience for these guys. Then you get Kulishevsky. If once Chiesa gets back as well, no, you take more matches, you keep building. It's more of a test, and it just keeps hopefully keeps the momentum building because we have that L to avenge. And yeah, for me, you go at it. You go at all competitions with everything you have. We have enough to, in my opinion, to balance that out. And this month has kind of shown us that 9 matches in 1 month is insane. And we did it with having 3 guys out with COVID and a Dybala out with injury, and then lost Chiesa for a couple too. So yeah. And Colin coming in, saying it's a difficult month and a great opportunity to give guys minutes today. Absolutely. And you have to take advantage of that. Going back to Jordan's question to me about, is there a disrespect because you're playing Spal, so you line up these youngsters? No, it's an opportunity. It's not a disrespect. It's an opportunity to get minutes to some younger guys. You get Delict back in the fold in a match that should be more comfortable coming back after COVID and whatnot. And not only that, you rest up the guns to continue the push in Serie A. So it is what it is. Talked about it earlier, Juve Spal in the history. They haven't played since February 22nd of 2020. It was a very, very frustrating match for any Juventini that remember, but Juve pulled it out 2-1. They played each other 43 times, 28 wins for Juve, 3 losses, 12 draws. The leading goal scorer in the history of this fixture, can anybody guess? Out of the 43 matches Juve and Spal have played. I asked it earlier, but see if anybody can get that. I'll name pretty quick here. In terms of what's to come, still Scamacca rumors starting to surface again that he may be the guy. I don't. Obviously, things didn't work out with Papu. Mario Mandzukic going to Milan, and I still see a lot of Juventini talking about Mario Mandzukic. I never thought it would be in the cards for Juve. Number one, you factor in how it all went down and how the treatment for him was and whatnot. It was never in my mind to even think about Mario come back. And honestly, I don't know if it would have been the best call, to be honest. And I love Mario Mandzukic, and I know that a lot of Juventini wanted him back, but I don't know. Obviously, Juve's trying to bring down the numbers on Scamacca. The latest rumors sitting around 20 million euros and whatnot. There's also rumors that Juve are working on a deal with Mandragora on selling him. We know that there's another youngster that was signed by Juve, a winger, Marley. So they've signed him, Marley AK. And yeah, there's moves being made. But again, as I said before the Mercado, as people were thinking about, you got to get a playmaker and a striker or not. It's just not going to happen. There will be one player that joins the fold immediately. I'm still sticking to that. And I think it's still not quite lining up in terms of what you're hearing from Pirlo and what the rumors are, because Pirlo and the way he speaks about Kulusevski leads me to believe that that's his guy now as that second striker, and he's happy with him in that role or whatnot. If we're going to ride that out, then why are we going after a fourth striker? And why are we pushing for this one, especially at that financial situation and that number? It doesn't quite add up or make sense. So it's really, really strange. In terms of a playmaker, very, very hard to swing, nearly impossible. So Papu was the one. He was the guy in terms of if you were going to get a playmaker and be able to make that move this window. So yeah, I honestly now, even the thought of getting one guy that's going to join the lineup immediately is kind of out the window. So unless it's a 4 striker, because there's still options, there's still some of the older guys lingering around they want to get, and then there's of course Skamake. But again, it doesn't really make sense. It would have made more sense if we were going to try Kulishevsky in that attacking mid role, and we liked it, and then say, okay, we'll bring a 4 striker, that'll be coverage, and then we go from there. The biggest thing for me, and I said it on the last podcast, episode 137 with great one, by the way, for anybody who checked out Ivan, was an awesome guest, and the discussion went so deep into so many different areas, but we talked about it, and the issue for me still becomes how important the number 9 is to this system and setup, and that's Morata. And if you're going to bring a striker in, they want to do it to have another guy that plays it that way, in my personal opinion. So now all of a sudden, if you still make that move, but you've got Kulishevsky that's kind of somewhat found a home at second striker, well, what does this do now for minutes and players? What does this do for Dybala? You know, Ronaldo's always a lock. Ronaldo's always going to be a lock at that one spot as a forward there. Ken coming in here saying, ciao, Ken. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo's always going to be a lock there. Okay. So now you want to rotate Kulishevsky, Dybala, Morata, and you want to have a 4 striker coverage. It's too tough. It's too tough, and it's not quite making sense. So to not get a better financial deal in terms of bringing in Scamacca, again, it's not making sense in terms of that. If you had Kulishevsky and you were going to use him as a playmaker in the attacking mid role, which I think he would actually suit, and I'd love to see it, and I'm shocked we haven't seen it yet. But if you use that, you know, you have Ronaldo and Dybala, then you have Morata as another 9, and then you bring in another 9. You can get away with that because you have your Ronaldo, Dybala, and you have your Morata and another 9 swap, and it just makes more sense. But honestly, man, Morata is so huge for us. So huge for us. Mr. T coming in was saying Scamacca is absolute trash. Ooh, I don't know if he's absolute trash, I'd say, but he's a prospect is what he is. But again, we're going after a 4th striker. Okay, we're going after someone that's going to be way down on there. And we're also making that move is someone that you're not going to lose on. There's going to be clubs you can move them along with at some point. If you bring in these older guys, okay, and then depending on what they're going to want for pay and whatnot, and then what's the term, because some of these guys still want 2 years or whatnot. That's 2 years has almost become a minimum, which is just kind of ridiculous. And we're not in a position to even do that, in my opinion. And it makes less sense. At least if you bring a young guy, you're not going to lose on it. You're going to be able to move him along down the line. And that's the biggest thing. And again, we're not looking for a guy that's going to be the guy, the killer. We have to think about this and factor in all accounts. Again, factor in the financials, factor in what position we're filling, which is 4th striker, the backup. As long as he's healthy, Morata's going to be the guy, and his performances have said so. He's had a bit of a decline here, but he's got to get going again. And again, I like the partnership he's got with Kulishevsky. Ronaldo's another discussion, and this is a big one. And oh my God, has it been crazy with Ronaldo lately, and his fanboys and everything. But man, here it is. In my personal opinion, Cristiano Ronaldo has had one good match in the past, 5? And this is a standard that he's set. Okay. So yeah, we've had him play one good match in the past 4 or 5. His attitude is all over the place. He had one good match. I'm thinking, I still don't think he did much offensively, but he was battling for the ball, winning it back for us and getting involved. And that was the mentality I needed and the approach I needed from him. But man, Ronaldo is a crazy one. We got into this because he's one of the guys that's up now. Like, you start thinking about contract renewals and contract extensions, and not for terms of performance, okay, but in terms of financials and whatnot. I think it's not a straightforward, yes, you extend Ronaldo. And it's simply because of where our team stands with the current roster, players they have, and everything like that. I don't think it's an easy yes. That's all I'm saying. And Ronaldo, he's got to get it going. So he gets the opportunity today to rest completely, which is great. And I think he needs it. I hope he comes back and can start being the Ronaldo we need. The frustration in the last match, and then you have all the Ronaldo fans that are saying, well, it's all these stupid teammates, always the teammates' fault. It's this and that, and they're not passing him the ball and whatnot. Yeah, I agree that there was a couple opportunities in the last match where he's got to they've got to look to get that there. However, again, we talked about it earlier, and it's guys and certain decision making and whatnot. And when you're playing a match, man, those windows get closed very, very quickly, and sometimes that's just what happens. Sometimes it just doesn't fall your way. And for Ronaldo, it wasn't, but he still had a couple opportunities. One of them, he was actually two that he was absolutely robbed on. But it's the attitude, it's the drive, it's the demeanor I need to see from him. The other guys need to feed off him, and if he's running around like that, honestly, whether it be because of the record and wanting to hit that quickest to 100 at Juve or whatnot, I don't really care, because it's still going to always be about Juve and not the player or the name on the back of the shirt. And it's just something I've seen as his tenure has kind of gone on at Juve, that I'm getting a different feeling. Like, obviously, like, the honeymoon phase is over. But it's just lately his attitude and how he's carried himself in the matches is a bit off. It's off in my opinion, just watching him. But of course, you guys could feel differently or whatnot, and that's fine. It's just something I've noticed. But I expect Ronaldo hopefully to start, basically bulging the onion bag, man. Start burying and start getting his head up and stop sulking and pissing and moaning about maybe not getting the ball in certain scenarios, and just pick it up. Pick up that attitude. Colin's coming in saying, I agree about his attitude. I criticize him for throwing his hands up in the air a few times. I would still renew him, no doubt in my mind. And that's fair. I just think, man, I don't know. I have to see more through this season and going through the crunch phase and whatnot. But I mean, maybe, just maybe, Father Time could be catching up too. And again, the finances, if we can get some type of a discount and a break, then okay. But even at this money, it's big. It's big, and you have to. I think it's a very, very fair question to ask if Juve would be better off to spread that out, to spread that money out amongst the group. I think it's all fair, to be honest, to ask that, but. That's just another one of the storylines that's surrounding Juve. But back to the match, Juve and Spal. coming up today. In terms of predictions, what are your predictions for this match? Again, Juve dominating the fixture. The history of goal scorers in this fixture, the leading goal scorers in the history of this fixture. Sivori with 9. Second was John Charles with 8 in this fixture. So Sivori will be the leading goal scorer in several fixtures for Juve, but he is in this one as well. Last time we played them, Juve scrambled to a 2-1 victory in February 22nd of 2020. This one today, I think Juve will some weird way concede 1 goal, but I think we'll put in 3. So 3-1 Juve victory for me today. Even if the lineup alters a bit from what we see here as the projection, which again, I'll remind everybody is Buffon in net, Di Pardo, Demiral, De Ligt, Frabotta, making up the back with Bernardeschi, Fagioli, Rabiot, Ramsey, Kulusevski, and Morata. Across the middle and top, even if it changes a bit, I'm going 3-1. Don't see Juve dropping this. There's just no way. And then we set up the big Derby d'Italia semi-final match. So let's see here. Tony's saying, I want a clean sheet victory. Yeah, I do too. I want that in every single match we play. But it'll be interesting. Demiral getting some minutes here. We'll see how he does. De Ligt coming back from COVID. And then, of course, Di Pardo and Frabotta in there. Like I say, I mean, I think Spal will find a weird one. Maybe even like a PK or something. But never going to really, I don't see them being a real threat or too intense of a challenge in this one. 3-1 for me. Colin saying I see a shutout for De Ligt and Demiral. Fantastic. And Stephen, 3-0 Juve. Nice. Everybody's going for that shutout, the clean sheet. Like it. Ken saying, are you resting Big Mac? Yeah. I think no question. You rest him. I think you rest Benta. You rest Arthur, of course, because I think that's pretty much a combination in terms of balance, overall play and everything. So yeah, it's without a doubt you would give them the chance to rest now because you're going to start leaning on them, and I think that's going to be the go-to. So it makes sense to do that. And Ken coming in with 3-1, same scoreline as me. But yeah, there you go. Looking forward to this one. Looking forward again. Eyes will be on Fagioli, Di Pardo, see what we have there. So that's going to be fun to watch. And a lot of shouts for Dragusin. But honestly, you have a guy that it appears now Demiral will not get, starting minutes in crucial matches unless there's injuries or anything like that. And now with Chiellini back in the fold, and in my opinion, Chiellini doing well, it makes sense for Dragusin not to get the minutes in this one and give him to Demiral, a guy that, has had an issue with minutes and wanting more and whatnot. You get him in there. So, yeah, eyes will be on Demiral at the back. Eyes will be on Fagioli, Di Pardo. We talked about that. And then for me, eyes still on Kulusevski, but I want to see how he and Ramsey work as Ramsey plays that attacking mid role. And then, of course, Bernardeschi as the Capitano today. Whatever your thoughts are on that, it's happening, and I'm looking forward to this match. I hope it's a fun one and an enjoyable one. I honestly think it will be. I'm looking for Kulusevski to absolutely shred today. So in terms of goal scorers, I actually think Kulusevski could end up with a brace, and I'll probably pop Morata because I want him to get going again the way he hit the ground running at the start of the season. So those will be my goal scorers as well. Juventini, thanks for joining me live. Those of you that are checking the video out after, please subscribe to the channel. Like the video, comment in there. It's all great. George coming in here with a late prediction, 2-1. Thanks, George. That's going to be tight. Same score line back in February 2020, but hopefully it's a little more comfortable than that. I think it's still going to be comfortable. But enjoy the match. I'll be back for another podcast post-match. We'll recap it. We'll talk about the storylines that come from it and whatnot, and we will preview the upcoming match on the weekend. That's going to be tomorrow morning around the exact same time with another fantastic guest. And of course, if you're checking this out and you want to be part of either one of these match day lives and joining me in the preview, or want to join on the podcast, keep in mind this podcast is open to any and all Juventini from any part of the world. Okay, I've had an amazing time meeting great people from all over the world. I've had so much fun doing this, and thank you. This year I had an insane amount of newcomers and first-timers, and I absolutely love it. So keep it coming. Reach out. Thanks to all who have, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Thank you so much for all the support. Enjoy the match today. We'll be back for another post-match podcast tomorrow morning, live, 5 a.m. my time, bright and early. Late shout-out. Muslim says, hey, and wish you were here a little bit sooner, my friend, but post-match podcast tomorrow live. Join me then. As always, Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Ciao.